Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.
Yo, welcome to episode 55 of the Two Bobs Cast. We are an A to Z rock and metal podcast coming to you almost every week, not last week, but almost every other week with a new episode, A to Z. We go through the discographies, we rank them, we talk about them. Mr. H tells you all the history. We do it all.
The history. That's a lot of history.
As mentioned, I'm here with my partner, Mr. H. How you doing, Mr. H?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Sucks having a week off when we got these longer ones, and obviously we have a guest with us today too. So, it happens though. So we might have to adjust the schedule too because we had Kiss coming up next, and that's 20 albums, and I'm like, well, we can't just take another week off,
Right?
So we're gonna have to do something else. So we're gonna have to kind of change things around. We'll do Kiss probably next time around, just because we won't have the week off because of Journey. So some bands just need more time.
That's right.
So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you want to introduce your our
Sure.
esteemed guest today?
We brought our resident Journey expert in here, John Bob. Welcome, welcome, Johnny Bob Good.
Glad to be here. Thanks, guys.
Today?
I'm doing well.
This will be fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess not much.
Got any news? You got any tidbits? Nothing going on?
Not really. Nice Browns game you went to the other day. That was
yeah,
exciting.
We're finally on the receiving end of a miracle game. It never happens, but this time it did.
No, that was a lot of fun. I usually get together with a group of people. We usually do it while the weather's warm. We do like a tailgate. They have like a little barn bar, and
nice.
We watch it. They got it all set up. TVs on every wall in a bar and like full loaded, and we have a lot of fun with it. But obviously some weeks we're like, this is terrible. Like, what are we doing here?
I'll be over there Sunday at 1.
Yeah. Okay. But this week it was fun. It was, I mean, and not the whole game too, right? But at least we kept it close.
Oh, it was awful. The first 3.5 quarters, and then more than half the people left. I mean, there was less than half the people. When the end of that game happened, so
you could see it on TV.
We always do.
It was loud when everybody was booing Flacco.
It was.
It was just.
It was
bad
it was
play
ugly,
after
man.
bad
It was
play. We're just
terrible.
like, boo. So,
and then they got some miracles to happen. But it was amazing.
Yeah, but you're right though.
Gardos too.
It's like we'll get one of those games every. I remember we played, I think, the 49ers a few years
yes,
ago.
Yeah, I was at that one too, where the kicker missed the field goal for the Niners, and we won that one.
Yeah.
So we do get a few, but we definitely lose more of those than we win.
Yes.
So, like the Bengals game, we held them to 7 yards in the second half and still lost that game.
They find different ways to lose all the time. It's just it's sickening. But this time it just everything went their way somehow at the end of the game. There was some moronic Green Bay plays. Don't get me wrong. Like
sure.
Why if they just run the ball on that third down instead of throwing the interception, like the game's over pretty much because Cleveland already used 2 of their timeouts. Just 3.5 minutes left. Like what are you doing throwing the ball first of all? And they threw it right to them.
Yep.
So without that, they lose. Like all these things had to line up. It was just
I have a hard time believing, even if they punt that ball away, that we are going to be able to.
There's no way they're gonna. The way the offense play, they're not driving all the way down the field.
And honestly, I think not getting that fumble call helped us.
You're probably right.
Maybe because they would have had to go 30 yards in they would have had a lot more time though because they didn't have it all the way run down like they did after third down.
Yeah.
But
I just don't trust. I just don't.
I don't trust them to go that far either. But they would have had more time for sure. But it was amazing.
Yeah. All right, Mr. H.
Yeah,
What do you
enough about
got
that. That's not why we're
about-
here.
Yeah, what do you got about Journey?
Journey, formed in San Francisco in 1973 out of the Steve Miller Band members and Santana members, originally called the Golden Gate Rhythm Section, intending to back up San Francisco Bay Area artists. They abandoned that name and the backup band theme, and after an unsuccessful radio contest to name the group, they came to be called Journey at the suggestion of a roadie. So at first they consisted of Neil Sean, guitarist, Greg Raleigh, keyboard and vocals, Ross Valley bass, George Tickner guitar, and Prairie Prince on drums. Prairie Prince! Oh, fantastic. He was soon replaced by Ainsley Dunbar, though, and off they went. We got kind of a lot to get to. We're going to do 10 albums. We're not going to do anything after Steve Perry left. But we will probably talk about those albums. I have a few things written about one of those albums in particular that I do pretty much like. But we're not going to rank them. So we're just going to go journey through Trial by Fire, just the studio album. So, and not that crazy Dream After Dream soundtrack instrumental, whatever that was. We're definitely not doing that.
I had to double check. I was like, Mr. H, we're not doing that one, right? He's like, no.
Not doing
I'm like, thank God. Like,
right.
it's out there.
Yeah.
I started listening to it. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather not.
It's a
We didn't have to.
Japanese movie they signed on to do. There's I think there's 10 sung words in the whole thing or something. I was reading somewhere and I'm like, I'm just not even gonna bother.
Yeah.
So anyway, 10 albums. We're gonna start with the self-titled Journey, which came out April 1st, 1975. 7 songs on this one. Produced by a Roy Haley. Don't know who that is. Haven't heard of him. And this is primarily progressive rock. This is kind of not my thing. The 70s progressive rock stuff, I really didn't like anybody that did it back then. So even like the Rush stuff, they got really progressive, which some of this does actually sound like. I've made a couple notes in here about songs that sound like Rush. There is some Rush influence here, or some parallels at least. I don't know about influence, but yeah, I really didn't care for much of this. This is the only album with George Tickner on guitar. It just kind of sounds dated all the way around to me. It sounds old. It feels old. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of goes on and on. So I don't know. A couple songs that I liked were Of a Lifetime and Mystery Mountain. Those are the first and last songs on here. The skippers for me are pretty much of the rest of it. There's 7 songs here. There's 2 instrumentals. I don't know. It's just, it kind of goes on and on for me. It's just okay, but you can already hear their instrumental prowess. But there's almost nothing catchy. There's nothing catchy there. They write some unbelievable songs later that I don't care if you hate them, you can't get them out of your head. There's nothing here like that at all. So it's a totally kind of different band, except that, musician wise, they're really top notch for sure. So I have this as a C-. I got this as my bottom of the list here. This is number 10 for me. It's like I said, it's just okay. What did you think, Johnny Bobby Good?
I think we're pretty much on the same page. It's progressive rock or jazz fusion-ish almost, and the musicianship's fantastic. It seems to me like the songs are just a reason to let's all play solos and do something until we get to the solos.
Yeah.
And Neil Sean's a fantastic guitar player. Just ask him; he'll tell you.
Yeah.
But his solos are
and
great.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'll tell you too. The solos are fantastic, and they can jam. But yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. Although I'll admit, I liked it more now than I did when I first started enjoying Journey. Like when I was 13, 14 years old, and I started going, "Ooh, let's go through their back catalog." And I listened to this. I was like, "What is this? This is garbage."
This is not Journey.
Yeah, exactly. But listening to it now, I appreciate it more. That being said, I'm not going to listen to it again. But
I don't think I will either. Yep.
I liked In the Morning Day. I really liked that song, and I liked Mystery Mountain also.
Okay.
My skippers were In My Lonely Feelings, Conversations, and Kohoutek, even though it's about some comet, I guess, that was coming around at that time. But
wow.
if it's about the comet that was coming around at that time, it must have been a really slow, boring comet. That's all I can figure. The thing I liked best about this album was it was 36 minutes long, and
Good
I
point.
gave it a C, and it's my number 10 also.
Yeah.
And that's all I've got.
Shortness is good.
Yeah.
in this case.
I'll tell you what, guys. You're gonna be a little surprised where I have this one.
Number
maybe not.
2.
No. Relax. I don't know. I kept coming back to this one. Like I'm very familiar with a lot of their stuff, obviously, that they've done in the 80s forward. I know most of that stuff. This I hadn't heard that much, and I got a text from you like, man, these first 3 are pretty rough. And I was like, yeah.
You're like, liar!
I don't. I mean, I actually think this one's pretty good, and the next 2, I kind of agree with you. Something about this one, though, I like it. I really do like it. This is one that I probably would have listened to, that I put on, and I was like, I'm going to listen to this again. And then I got through all of them, and I went back and I listened to these first 3 again, and this is the one I came back to.
Okay.
I really like Greg Raleigh. His voice. Now, am I going to compare him to, Steve Perry? No, like, let's not get crazy, but I like his voice. It's very unique. It fits what you need for this type of music, right? When I listen to this, I kind of compare it to like some of my Opeth stuff. It's very, very progressive, though Opeth goes more on the heavier side of things. Obviously, this is more the classic rock, progressive jazz rock stuff. I was actually really impressed. Of a Lifetime, I thought was phenomenal, and I really was listening to like the musical arrangements and listening to these guys' chops on these instruments, and I'm just like, these guys are out of this world. Which again, I knew that from other stuff, but yeah, I'm a fan of this.
The fact that they are right off the bat, though, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like these guys are super talented.
Yeah,
Clearly, it's George Tickner.
Clearly, yeah.
It has to be. But
even him, though, I'm sure he's really, really
Sean.
good,
Sean and Raleigh came from Santana, right? Those were the 2 that came from Santana.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell. Like these guys were hitting the ground running. I bet you they had some of these songs ahead of time, because I really think this one's way better than the next 2. I don't think they could follow it up in that style like they did. But anyway, I really like this album a lot. I will come back to it. I didn't imagine I would like this as much as I did. I have it as a B-, and I have it number 5, guys. Number 5. Again, not like, don't get crazy. I mean, the stuff later on is epically classic. Like, it's like you said, the difference is the songs. The difference is the songwriting.
for sure.
But I got enough into their musical talents and the structures of these songs. Like, I was loving it. So again, B-, number 5. Again, all their stuff is, I don't have anything in the D range. I think you guys all had this at C-. So I think that tells you a lot with just the musicianship, even if the songwriting isn't there.
No D's.
Yeah. Same here. So, number 5 in a B- for.
I guess I'm not surprised, because of what you said about Opeth, and I could see you kind of music nerding out to this one,
Yeah.
Like, it's actually it's not that surprising, after you said all that. It makes a lot of sense. So, and I didn't hate it, it's just not my thing, and I don't like, how I don't like, generally more of that progressive, like Opeth, even like I struggle with finding stuff there I like, but like you said, they're heavier, it's different, but I totally see what you're talking about, like with the arrangements.
Same here. I think the cassette I have originally might still be in the house I grew up in. I might have listened to it once and left it there.
Yeah.
And listening to it now, I really,
I can definitely appreciate it more. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, okay, so on to kind of more of the same, but not as good. Look into the Future, February 1st, 1976. So as pretty much every band did back then, they put out an album every year. So they're going to do this for a little while. Which is good. Journey. This was produced, by Journey and Glenn Kolotkin. Don't know that guy either. They do have some. They get some kind of Southern rock, Skinner or Allman Brothers vibes here and there on here. I noticed, so I thought that was interesting that they're trying different stuff. Again, this is a band that I guess like you said that you feel like they wrote those songs earlier, like when they were together as this backing band. I think that's why they were probably writing music. Like at some point they're like, let's just become our own band if we're just going to keep writing music. So I think you're right. So in here, I feel like they're okay. Well, let's see what else we can do. That's kind of what this album felt like to me. So they tried some different stuff. They toned down a little bit of the progressiveness, like the songs are a little shorter and just kind of more. I don't know, more accessibility rather than the progressiveness gives you. I think but Neil is just showing off all over this album. I mean, all over the place. So the title track is Journey's longest recorded song to this point. My favorites here are Anyway and She Makes Me Feel All Right. Skippers, again, I don't like a lot of the rest of this album, so a lot of it's kind of, I don't know that I really hated any songs, but I don't know. It's just, again, it's not quite there for me, and it's not catchy enough. I am not as big a fan of Greg Rowley's voice, but it's kind of hard to say that because I know what's coming. Like it's night and day difference, and when you're, when you love the next guy as much as I love his voice, like it's hard. It's almost hard to listen. And in fact, on the next album, or 2 albums from now, they both sing. Yeah. And I don't even like it when Greg Rowley sings. I'd almost wish he sung his own songs and have Steve Perry sing the other songs. Like I don't know. So it's really hard for me, but I'm sure he's a fantastic musician and he's really not a bad singer. I just think it's because of the comparison that I have the big problem there. But so I don't have any feeling for or really care much about the other songs on here other than to hear Neil shred. So when that part of the song comes on, then I'm interested. So, but I give this as a C. It's a little better, like I said, a solid C. I give this at number 8. There's some better stuff here for me, not as progressive, and Neil is ridiculous, but ultimately it's not all that memorable for me. So, what did you think of Look Into the Future, John?
I'm pretty much the same as you. It's again, I just love listening to Neil shred.
It's everywhere on here. Yeah.
Now, my thing with Greg Rowley's vocals, it's funny. He has this. To me, he's got 2 different kind of vocals. There's the one where he sings kind of slow and weird and sounds like he's stoned. Mm-hmm. And then there's other ones where he sounds like speeds it up and sounds a little tougher, Yeah. And in the song Anyway, I really didn't like it because he just sounds like he's so stoned. He's just, it's like that really slow. And that's the Greg Rowley I don't like. But then the very next song, She Makes Me Feel All Right. It's like, it's a tougher vocal, It's a really great song. That one I really liked. I also really like Look Into the Future. Just great groove, the guitar, the keyboard. They just really go well together. I liked It's All Too Much, too, for kind of the same reason. Everything else was, again, just a reason to listen to Neil shred, and he does, just all over the album. It's like he's great, but I don't know if I'll come back to this one. I think it's a little bit better than the first one, but to me, they're very interchangeable. I have them ranked. I could change them. They're both C's. I gave this one number 9. I could probably change them to 9, 10, flip flop them either way. But I ranked this one number 9 and gave it a C. But okay. Yeah, I could listen to Neil all day though.
Yeah. Absolutely cool. Well, as I said before, that first one for some reason was the one I liked of the first 3. There was a drop off for me on these next 2. Just the songs. I just like the songs better on the first one. It felt a little bit more, I don't know. It felt a little unorganized that they just were playing more. It could just be, it was just better for my ear, whatever it might be. But I do like the 2 that you guys mentioned. Anyway, She Makes Me Feel All Right are very good. I like On a Saturday Night. It's All Too Much. That's a Beatles cover, I believe.
Yes,
it's really, really good. And then I do like the closer. I'm going to leave you. I like. It's funny you mentioned when they sing together. Like I wish they would have sang together more.
Yeah.
I really like the stuff that they do together. And there's not a lot of it. There's not a lot that they do together, but you kind of in my head though, it's like, do I want to substitute the songwriting for the guy that takes over for songwriting later for Greg Rowley? No,
Right.
I don't want to do that. So, but I do kind of wonder, like for me personally, if he would have kept
He would have
doing
just
songs,
stuck around.
yeah, just to
maybe
see,
just had 6 guys in the band, and then he could sling some
Yeah.
solo stuff too.
yeah. But again, the what we got was much better, obviously. So, good album, solid album. Nowhere near as good as that first one for me, but I have it a C, and I have it number 9. But just not a huge difference. I think a lot of this bottom half for me is very interchangeable. It's all just okay stuff that I love a lot of the like the guitars, like you guys mentioned, and overall pretty good, but not as good as number 1 for me, or as Journey for me. So number 9, Look Into the Future, and a C for me.
Okay. On to next.
What's
Next. I
Who's
think
on
next.
first?
Next is next.
Who's on
What's
first?
next?
Next is next. February 1977. 8 songs. This one, Tickner left, leaving the band a 4-piece on this one, I believe.
Yep.
I feel like this one for me is a little bit step back from the last album. Like I feel like they tried to do the same sort of thing. It's just not as well done to me. They never play anything live off of this one after like 1979. Spaceman, even though it was the one single that was released off of this album, Spaceman has never been played live. Never. And Here We Are, also the 4th song, has never been played live. So they I don't even think the band is that big of a fan of this album. So
Probably not.
Nickel and Dime is one of those songs that it's an instrumental, but that's one of those songs that I was saying has a Rush, kind of a lot of Rush sound to it, a lot. So I don't know if it's influenced by Rush. This is 1977, but Rush was doing a lot of the same stuff around this time. It's not bad. I mean, it's an instrumental, but it gives them a chance to show off. Like when Neil shows off, and on here too, he does the same thing. It almost sometimes, like, it doesn't even fit the song. It's just him soloing, like, off, doing his own thing with a backing band. It's kind of weird how it just goes so far off of what the song was, which I think is what you were saying, where they have more cohesiveness on the first album, because
Yes.
those were actually more structured songs, where these are kind of parts of songs, and then Neil just goes off and does his own thing for a while, and then comes back, and you're like, okay, let's finish the song out.
Yep.
So, but it's there's some really good stuff in here by him again. So I like some of his heavier work also in parts of songs like Hustler and Karma. So those, there's not really, I guess those would probably be my favorite songs, but he has a heavier kind of guitar tone in there, like he does in some songs later, and I love that. So Skippers, quite a bit of it, really, especially I Would Find You, and kind of most of Here We Are. I don't mind some of the song, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of that one. Like, it was one that I just didn't like at first, and then I kind of listened to it a second time, and I'm like, I still really don't like it. I don't know if I really like it or not, but I would put that as my second skipper, I guess, on here. But I have this as a solid C, and I have this at number 9. I mean, at this point, I feel like this band, I know what's coming too, but I feel like this band, and listening to these albums in order, that this band really needed a kick in the ass right here.
Yep.
Right? Like they were kind of just struggling, doing kind of the same thing, and they needed some kind of kick in the ass. They experimented here with Robert Fleischman as a dedicated singer on live shows and rehearsals, although he didn't. There are some recorded songs by him, I think, that showed up on the box set later, but there's nothing on any of these albums that he recorded. But he did some live shows with them, so they were experimenting with the 2-singer thing. And he actually went on to sing for Vinnie Vincent Invasion, like in the mid-'80s. So, and he's a really good singer too. So I would like to have heard stuff with him, like you were saying. Like, I wish that they had him a little bit earlier and he was able to be included on this album, and they could have done the two singer thing and just see what he would have sounded like there. But anyway, so as it is though, he wasn't. So just thought it was worth noting that he was the next, actually the first real lead singer of Journey.
Yeah.
Was Robert Fleischman. So I have this as a C and a number 9. What did you think of Next, John?
I'm with you. Like I was listening to this, and I was listening to it thinking of it as an old school album, and I'm getting through side 1, and I was like, man, I do not like side 1.
Yes.
You know, I just did not like it. I flipped it over to side 2, and I loved side 2. Hustler, I loved Hustler. That song was just great. The guitar was just killer. His solo was fantastic. And Next, I think Next might have had my favorite Greg Rowley vocal of all 3 of these first 3 albums. I thought his vocals were great. Nickel and Dime, I loved the groove on that. I thought it was, I definitely caught the Rush vibe on that one. And then Karma, a great song. And I've talked to Mr. H about this before. This was where Ross Valerie was just going to town on the bass on this. He's such an underrated bass player.
So good.
There's going to be so much more of that on these later albums where his bass is just, he just drives all their songs, and he's got fantastic bass lines and bass fills even. It's almost like he's a second drummer in the band.
Yeah, he's great. And later on, they record him way better than they do on this album too. Like, he is crystal clear. You can hear every note he plays, and he's fantastic.
Especially
I have comments about that later. Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, man, this dude. Yeah. Really good stuff.
And this album, I think after this album, the record company told them, you guys need a front man. They were going to drop them if they didn't get a singer. And I'm glad they did. So I had a really hard time rating this album. I wanted to rate it higher than I did, but I couldn't rate it higher than a Steve Perry album. I just couldn't, so I gave it a C+. It's number 8. And I think maybe if side 1 had been better, I would have rated it better, but I just couldn't. So I think to me, it was my favorite of the non-Steve Perry albums. And it could have been, if side 1 was stronger, I think I would have rated it higher, but I couldn't rate it above a Steve Perry album. So.
All right. Fair enough. I agree with you guys basically 100%. Side 1 is rough. I don't know what they were thinking. They actually later on, I think, run into the problem of front loading some stuff, even though they're more solid through. But many bands do that. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of bands will front load albums with the stuff that they probably are most proud of. Man, it's like night and day. I totally agree. I love side 2. Karma is my favorite song on this album, hands down. Hustler's great. Nickel and Dime is great. Next is great. I honestly, Spaceman's weird to me. Like, I don't, just not a huge fan of it. But it's a solid album. I think it's better than the last one. I feel like they finally were, I don't know, able to write some better songs. But I agree with you, Mr. H, that this is one of like 3 times that this band has needed a kick in the ass. Like, okay, time to move on to something else. Let's go. And perfect time for the next record to do something else. But again, they're going to come to this a few more times, I feel like, where they need something different. And, they make that change, and I think it's for the better. So next, overall, pretty good. I have it number 8, and I have it as a C as well. So that means I have one album with Steve Perry that I think is worse than all 3 of these. But I didn't have a problem with it because I thought it was way worse to me. So, like I said, I like that first record. These are just decent, not bad. I appreciate the musicianship, but the great songs are obviously coming. So, Mr. H.
Are they ever? All right, on to 1978, and now we really start getting into the good stuff. This is Infinity. Infinity's got 10 songs. This is produced by Roy Thomas Baker, who we know from Queen fame. He did a really great job with that band. Again, a band with ridiculous musicians. So that guy knows how to take care of bands that have great musicians. So good fit for them. First album with Steve Perry on vocals, and the last with Ainsley Dunbar on drums. Wow, did the kick in the ass come when they found Steve Perry. almost as a different band, just like that.
Yep.
Some of this album is so good. One of my favorite songs ever by them, also in Wheel in the Sky. I absolutely love that song. It's just up there with one of my favorite ones. Like every time that I hear the intro to it, like it almost gives me goosebumps. I just love the song. It wasn't overplayed, it wasn't like I wasn't listening to music or the radio all the time when I was 6 when this came out. I wasn't even 6 yet. I was 5 still. So I didn't really get burnt out on this song ever. It's just one of my absolute favorite Journey songs. Skippers, I really don't have any on this album. There is still some leftover progressive stuff on here too, which keeps me from rating it a little bit higher. But I like a lot of this album. My favorites are Lights. It opens with that, which is kind of weird.
It is a weird
I
opener.
feel like it's just a weird opener for them. And as I listen to this, like this isn't one like an album. I knew Wheel in the Sky was on here, but this isn't an album that got a lot of listens from me growing up. For whatever reason, I just didn't have it. I mean, I bought it later because I have all their stuff now, but I didn't buy this one that early on, so it really didn't get a lot of listens from me. So I found like there were songs that kind of buried deep in my head that I knew I liked, but they kind of came back out when I listened to this again. And Anytime is one of those songs. I loved that one. One of the Robert Fleischman partially written songs. And Patiently is another song I really liked too on this album, along with Wheel in the Sky, of course, as I already mentioned. So I have this as a number 4 in my catalog. I have this as a B. I could slot this one kind of pretty quickly. Like some other ones I really struggled with, like 5, 6, and 7, I really kind of struggle with ranking. But this one, because it had the 4 solid songs out of 10 that I really, really like, that it made it pretty easy for me. I have this at 4. I have it as a solid B. The progressive leftovers and Raleigh, I don't mean to bash the guy, but Raleigh's still singing keep this from being a little better for me. Like I said, I'm a huge Steve Perry fan. He's one of the most recognizable voices and one of the my favorite rock voices of all time. Like it just doesn't even come close to me. So I just want to hear more Steve Perry all the time. Kind of like how I mentioned with Deep Purple. I wanted to hear David Coverdale all the time,
Right.
and I didn't get them all the time, but there were some other great songs and they still are, but I just didn't get them all the time. And that's what I want with Steve Perry too. So, but anyway, this is a solid B, number 4 out of the 10 that we're ranking. What did you think of Infinity, John?
Infinity fans, I love this album. Like,
I thought you were going to say,
yeah, we'll talk later about what my first Journey album was, but this was one where I went back through the Columbia House Music Club, getting all the old Journey cassettes.
Don't know
And
why I didn't do that.
I tried listening to them in order, and this was the first one of the old ones I actually loved. And every song, I loved every song on it. I wore the cassette out. There's no skippers on it for me. It's just so good. I even liked Greg Rowley's vocals on this one that I didn't like before. Maybe it was the Steve Perry effect. I like when they sing together.
Yep.
The songs are just better too.
Yeah,
I mean, they just are.
They are. Lights, classic song. I'm still not sick of Lights.
Yeah.
I've seen Journey so many times. I'll sing it as loud as I can, as bad as I can. It's
Yes.
still fantastic. Feeling That Way Anytime. I don't know how they got mixed where they play them together all the time. I think they were an A side and a B side together, and I don't know how would a DJ play them together back in the day when they were an A side and a B side? How'd they flip it so fast? I don't
Maybe
know.
they had 2. They had one. They just sync the other one.
Yeah.
up.
But I love them. I even like La Du Da. I just think that's a cool song. It's got a great guitar, the way the guitar starts in that, and it just gets, keeps me moving. And Wheel in the Sky. I've never thought Neil Sean threw riffs out there a lot. He's more of with solos. Journey, it seems like the keyboards do the riffs more than the guitar. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's one of the few riffs that Neil puts out there, and it's fantastic. It's just great.
It's sick. It's
Yeah.
sick.
And then Winds of March, it's more on the progressive side, but it's just a great song. I think that was something that Roy Thomas Baker probably really helped pull out of them. Hey, let's go a little bit to your more progressive side. And it's just a really cool song. Love the album. It's my number 2. I gave it an A-.
Wow.
I told you I had a shocker for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, hold my beer, guys, because
Wow.
I love this album as
Number
well.
1 for Heard.
It's easy number 1 for her.
Oh.
No, you said you slotted it right at 4 right before you started. I slotted this number 1. This is a perfect album for me. It does everything I want. You know I like the proggy stuff, so they still kept a little bit of that. I love the dual vocals. Feeling that way, like it like the first bunch of it is Raleigh singing, but when Steve Perry hits in the middle of that song, like, oh my God, it's so good. I love this album. And I think what I love most about it is, and you kind of both alluded to it, not one song on here I am like, God, I don't want to hear this again. And that happens on almost every other album coming forward. That hurt, and I know we say that doesn't hurt. It shouldn't hurt a band because their songs are so amazing that we're sick of hearing them. But I think it should go the other way. It should have a lot of bearing where I've heard all of these songs 500 million times, and I'm not sick of Lights. I'm not sick of Wheel in the Sky. I'm not sick of feeling that way in any time. I love La Doo Da. The lyrics are obviously ridiculous and silly, but you nailed it, John. That the riff at the beginning, it's like it's awesome. It's just like, it's not a Journey riff like it. It sounds awesome. I love it. Winds of March, you nailed it. It's just that little bit of progressive in there. It's the perfect fit. You got Steve Perry on vocals this time for the progressive type stuff. And again, I'm like, now I want to see Steve Perry sing some of the progressive stuff and see how he does with that. But yeah, this is number 1. This is A+ for me. I never get sick of any of these songs. I don't want to skip any of them. It's perfect. It's perfect for what I want to listen to. So Infinity, you are the king with Journey with Heard.
Awesome, man. Wow. Surprising. All right, on to Evolution. So they're going to evolve, I guess. March 23rd, 1979, 11 songs. We got one album every year. It's all the way up till now and continuing forward. This is Roy Thomas Baker again. I mean, again, why mess with it? He knows how to work with these musicians. I'm guessing they only maybe changed on the next album, maybe because he wasn't available. But this is the first album with Steve Smith on drums, who came from Ronnie Montrose's band. This one surprised me. I like this quite a bit more than I think I ever did before. Because really only one big song on here that they really still play. There's only the one, really just the one hit. So Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin'. So it's just, I feel like this rounds out their sound. This album is more consistent. It's a really, really solid album. It doesn't really kind of have the highs and lows. It's just a solid, consistent album for me. Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin', Too Late, City of Angels, Loving You Is Easy. I like those are all songs that I really like on here, and I had no skippers on this one again. So I don't really like this because the highs of Infinity for me were higher. I have this one rated just below that one. I have this at number 5 just because, like, it's not quite up to that level, but I think the album is more consistent all the way across for me. So I have this as a B or B minus, and I have this at number 5. What did you think of Evolution, John?
It's funny. I'm with you. I have it just below Infinity. I love the album again. It's tight. I love Majestic. It's and I know it's just a little interlude, and they would play it taped, as that a lot of their shows come out to. It's just a killer little guitar thing. I'd love to hear it spread out into like a whole song or something. It'd be great. Like I could just see it being some kind of like stadium anthem with Steve Perry singing something. Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin'. We all know it. We all sing it. We all sing Nana. It's everyone knows it.
Yep.
City of the Angels. It's not my favorite, but I'll still sing it. I'll still listen to it. I won't skip it. I really like When You're Alone, It Ain't Easy. I don't know. There's just something catchy about it. It just hits me, you know. The funny song for me is Sweet and Simple. When it starts, I wanted to hate it. You know, when I first heard it, it sounded sappy. I didn't like it. But then that second part, when the chorus kicks in and they just get louder and, you know, the whole band and the guitar and everything, I'm like, I like the song. Then it goes back to the verse I don't like. Then it goes back to the chorus I do like. It's like a bipolar song for me, you know, but I in the end, I really liked it. And then, do you recall one of my favorite songs? If you ever listen to the Captured, the live album, they do such a good version. It's like they just rock it out so much more. You know, the album version is good, but the live version is just so much better. It's just such a good song. I have this as a B plus number 3, just right under Infinity. There's no skippers on it for me. I could listen to this album anytime. I still love it. I'll still listen to it.
All right. I'm kind of with you guys. I like it. This is what I talked about before. Top heavy. This first side is really good, and then the side 2, I just couldn't really get into it. Yeah, I love Majestic into Too Late. You know, Too Late is a good slower jam. Love and Touch and Squeezing, awesome. City of the Angels is good. When You're Alone, awesome. Sweet and Simple. I agree with you. It's a little bit funny, but I love it. I love Steve Perry's vocals in it. Side 2, it's very forgettable for me. I've not heard the live version of Do You Recall? It was really nothing to me that was super. Just the recording of this, I was like, okay, you know, it's okay. It's a good album. It's well produced. All their albums are getting better produced as we go. They sound great. They're just going to sound better and better as we go. But this is a solid album. I have it as a B, and I had it number 4, Evolution.
All right. On to Departure. Now we're at February 29th, 1980. So this is album number 6. 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. All right in a row. 12 songs produced by Jeff Workman and Kevin Ellison. Kevin Ellison would go on to work with them a little bit in the future here on when they really started to blow up. This is the last album for Greg Raleigh in the band. They got a little ballad happy on this one, I feel like. They do these ballads really well later. So in some cases, these kind of feel like practice ballads for me. So like, let's see what we can do with these sappy ballads. Like Good Morning Girl, Stay a While, like are back to back. And that's actually kind of a skipper for me, those two together, but Stay a While isn't a bad song to me, but it's like a sequencing issue because it's together. They're only like over 4 minutes, but it's too much of a chunk of this album for me. That's just, I don't know. I just got bored with it. I don't know why, but like I said, the Stay a While part, especially I was watching some of the Live in Houston, which is on Spotify now that you can listen to, but there's also DVD not DVD, but there's a live video version on YouTube. I've watched it often because the set list is great. A lot of these songs I like are in it. One of the skippers in here, 2 of them actually are in it too, but I do like them more live than I like them on this album. I guess is where I was going with that. But I do like I'm Crying. It's a little bit better of a ballad. I think that's like the next level up for me. This is their highest charting album to date and their first appearance in the top 10 on Billboard, the top 200 albums, which is, you know, pretty much where they're going to stay for a little while. My favorites on here are Any Way You Want It. This is another, like you said, this is another Neil riff. Like this is definitely a great riff that they wrote this song around, guitar riff, and it's fantastic. So it's a great song too.
Looks like we got a frozen Mr. H. John, you want to go ahead and give some of your thoughts, and we'll hop back.
Yeah. I remember you saying this. There were a couple times when Journey needed a change and a kick in the butt, and I'm gonna guess this is one of those times.
You got it.
Yeah, because this album, it didn't seem more like a departure. It seemed more like a regression.
Yes,
to me, you know. And I get why it was their highest selling at the time, because Any Way You Want It was their biggest hit, I would assume, up to this point. Great song. I mean, come on, it was in Caddyshack too,
Nice.
But great. It's just great. It might be my second favorite Journey song. It's just such a great song. I really like Walks Like a Lady too. I've always liked that song. It's just a cool song. It's a little different for them. It's got a funky groove. After that, I really don't care about almost anything else on this album. Bob likes I'm Crying It. Mr. H likes I'm Crying.
Yep.
My notes for I'm Crying It are I'm bored.
Yeah.
That. And Stay a While is all right, but you had to get through a whole lot of other stuff to get to it. And Precious Time also wasn't bad. But really, honestly, this is probably, of the 3 Greg Raleigh, Steve Perry albums, the one I listened to the least.
Yeah.
I gave this a C+, and I have it ranked number 7. I really think that this was just as far as they could go with Greg Raleigh. They needed something else, and I'm glad they got it.
Yep, absolutely. And you basically nailed exactly what I had in my notes here. This is time number 2 where they had to shake it up. Like something wasn't, it's like almost like they ran out of material, right? It's like they're like, well, we need a new writer in here because I think we've taken this as far as it'll go. And this is a longer album. Again, we got 12 songs on it. I feel like this band is at its best when it's just like, 35 minutes, 10 songs. I feel like when
they could do it up till now. Yeah,
exactly. And, they go back to it a little bit, but this is just too many songs. I agree with you on Any Way You Want It is an amazing song. It's obviously phenomenal. Walks Like a Lady is kind of iffy to me. It's not a bad song. I think it's in a bad spot of the album. I think right coming off of Any Way You Want It, maybe if they would have put it a little bit later, it's like an awkward, because Any Way You Want It, it just ends with Sean playing over and over that guitar solo, and then it goes to Walks Like a Lady. Then it's a little strange to me, but I'm with you. There's not really a whole lot else on this album I really like. I was really disappointed by this one from where it was in the discography. I wasn't very familiar with it, but I have it exactly like you do, John. I have it number 7 and a C+. Obviously just in this vicinity of where they're writing, it just stands out like a sore thumb to me. It's way worse than I thought it was. So number 7, C+. So I'll kick it back over to Mr. H. Go ahead and finish your thoughts on.
Yeah, I was at Line of Fire. It's a little too swingy and show tuney for me. And then Good Morning Girl and Stay a While. I think Stay a While was kind of a popular song for them too. Like I said, it was like a kind of a sequencing issue, like I mentioned earlier. I have this as kind of a B-. Like I have it down to number 6. Like it was weird. Like Infinity's really good, and then Evolution is solid and it's good, and then this one's just kind of a notch below that. So I have this at number 6. I pretty much agree. It sounds like with what you guys were saying. So
yeah, we both had number 7 at C+.
Okay.
So
yeah, a little too much practice ballads here for me too.
Yep.
So
yeah.
All right. So sorry for my disconnection. I'm glad everything reset itself. I didn't have to do a whole lot of work, so hopefully
nice.
That will stay connected. On to Escape, the gigantic album that kind of put them in their own orbit for a while. We'll kind of gloss over Dream After Dream, which is a movie soundtrack for a Japanese film that they signed on to do, and I don't think there's many sung words even in it. It's mostly instrumental, but I didn't.
You
really
can
care
imagine
for it,
what 13-year-old me thought when I got that from Columbia
Yeah.
House.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, hey, there it is. Oh, yeah, that's what is this? So it's just not good. Not for what they do. I guess it totally stands out. Then they came with Captured, which is a live album, which I'm sure John will talk about a little bit, and then came Escape. So this is July 17th, 1981. 10 songs on here, produced by Mike Stone and Kevin Elson again. This is where I wanted to talk about. This album is masterfully recorded. I love that you can hear so much of the phenomenal bass lines, and like all cylinders are humming with this band at this point. This is the first album with Jonathan Cain from the Babies. Like, holy crap, what a difference. I don't miss Greg when they replace him with Jonathan Cain. So this is the 5th highest selling album of 1981, and I'm like, what the f? The 5th highest selling? So I still have meant to look this up like 5 times, see what the other albums were. I know number 4 is Belladonna by Stevie Nicks. I don't know what the other 3 are, but I need to look them up before this podcast is over because I keep forgetting to do it. And I'm like, what could have sold more than this album in 1981? So that was interesting. Neil Sean, Steve Perry, and Jonathan Cade are just unbelievable songwriters. These guys, again, there's some stuff, just like Herd said before. I'll admit for sure that I have a bit of Open Arms fatigue. I mean, it's a crazy great song though, and I got to give them credit where it's due. It's just, oh man, and it's just, I don't know. There's some of this that it's like I've heard them so many times that it's not their fault, but I try to go back to what I felt like about this album kind of in the 80s, like in the mid to late 80s when it had been around for a while and how much of it I still loved then, like it's still got one of my favorite songs on it by them ever, Who's Crying Now. I absolutely love that song. We just were watching the video of it earlier, and it's not one, they play it a lot kind of on satellite radio I guess now, but I don't remember hearing that all that much on the radio. It wasn't Don't Stop Believing, it wasn't Open Arms. Like, they didn't play it that often to where I just kind of got tired of it. And I love the kind of darkness to it. Like, it's so good. These guys are such good songwriters. I feel like this is kind of also, I wanted to mention, this is where Rolling Stone kind of crapped the bed, I think, around this time. Dave Marsh of the same Fish rap, or I'll call it pee-pee paper, because that's what Kelly's parents used for their dog. They had the dog indoor potty trained, and they used pee-pee paper. So we would definitely use Rolling Stone for pee-pee paper. They reviewed this album in 1983 and gave it 1 out of 5 stars. 1! Like, what a joke. I guess they didn't, Journey didn't grease their palms or whatever. I don't know. But I hope that guy got fired immediately. What a moron. Perry is kind of really pushing his limits too, I noticed, on Lay It Down. Not the Rat Lay It Down. But yeah, he's really kind of pushing himself on that one. It's almost out of his range, really. It seems like it was tough for him to even get to. But my favorites on here, there's some of my favorite songs ever, not just on this album. Obviously, Don't Stop Believing. A timeless summer song, Stoned in Love. That goes up there with like Summer Nights by Van Halen. Like, it's just, I want to just roll the windows down and blast it out of my 1981 Camaro windows, T-tops, and so the whole world can hear it. It's such a great song. And just an incredible instrumental outro. Just killer. Neil Sean just crushes it with these things. He did the same thing on Who's Crying Now. Neil Sean he's just absolutely on fire on this album. Like I said, that haunting Who's Crying Now, top probably 3 song for me by them ever, and one of my favorite songs ever. It's just the outros, man, just sick, ridiculous stuff. Keep on Running kind of has a Rush vibe in spots. I can hear some EVH vibe in there too, some Eddie Van Halen vibe in there, especially near the end. So that's some of the not as popular songs. Like I said, Open Arms is a good song. I have this as rated A. I don't have this as an A+. It is really good, but a couple songs, Dead or Alive for me, and I don't really love all of Mother Father either, but parts of it I really do like. So those two, where I listen to those songs, I don't skip them, but it holds it back for me from being an A+ album. And really, not only being an A+ album, but being one of the best total productions ever recorded. Like, this is like, blueprint, for recording people who are really good at what they do and being able to capture every note of everything everybody's doing. It just sounds phenomenal. Even today, even whatever, 40 plus years later, almost 45 years later. But I'm not skipping either of those 2 songs, but they just aren't up there with the greatness of most of the rest of this album. And like Herd said earlier a couple of times, this album also, their greatness here is top heavy. It's really top heavy. So there's, like I said, there's good songs on the second half too, but it's really, really top heavy as far as great songs go. So this is number 2 for me. What did you think of Escape, John? I believe you have this hanging on a wall somewhere.
Yes, this is the first album I ever bought. I heard Who's Crying Now, and I was like, okay, I really like that song. But then I heard Don't Stop Believing. And I took my paper route money, 11-year-old me, rode my bike to the record exchange in Maple Heights, bought this album, put it in my backpack, praying I wouldn't wipe out on the way home and break the album.
It.
And I got home, played the album, played it nonstop. I wore it out. The Wore Out album is in a frame hanging on my wall.
Awesome.
I had to buy it again. I've got it on cassette. I've got it on CD. It's this album is why I love music. I mean, it easily is.
Wow.
And heard you'll love what my second purchase was. Asia's self-titled album.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But you mentioned Bob or Mr. H that I was going to talk about Captured, the album.
Yes, please do.
It's a fantastic live album, double live album.
Did you have that before you had Escape?
No, I went back and I got that too.
Okay.
And it's basically a greatest hits compilation live of the Greg Rowley, Steve Perry era. And I can't say that it's all completely live. It sounds so good. I wonder if they went back and overdubbed. I'm sure they did.
Yeah. Sure.
But it just sounds so good. And they rocked up a lot of the songs, like I mentioned. Do you recall? Just sped it up. It's faster. It's louder. It's really good. And it also has the studio track "Party's Over," which is a great song. I love that song. And it also came with a poster inside the double album that had 6 parts to it. 5 of them were each individual pictures of the band, and the 6th was the album cover itself. And I probably messed up by tearing it apart and putting them all up on my wall instead of saving it and maybe keeping it pristine so I could get some money for it. But what did 13-year-old or 12-year-old me know at the time? But I can't. If you go back and listen to that, it's on Spotify. It's a really great album. It sounds fantastic, and like I said, it's a greatest hits album for the Greg Rowley, Steve Perry era. But coming back to Escape, I love this album. Mr. H, you said everything there is to say about it as far as I'm concerned. Everyone loves Don't Stop Believing. And it's one of the ones where just everybody shines. Ross Valerie's bass lines, just all through that song.
Ridiculous, man.
It's just ridiculous what he's doing in that song. And everybody, the keyboards, the drumming, the guitar work, it's like everybody just caught magic on that song.
Yes.
And the funny thing was, it wasn't even that huge of a hit at the time. I think it was in I don't remember exactly where it was, but it wasn't, a number 1 hit at all. And it's just over the years, over time, just become a bigger and bigger hit. And it's just a song that'll never die. Stone in Love. I don't know what a blue jean girl is, but I want one. And the riff, and it's a summer song. You're right. It's
man.
Yeah, it's just summer.
The riff, like it's another riff song by Neil too. Just it's greatness.
And Who's Crying Now? I don't know if there are that many better nighttime driving songs.
Oh,
it's
got that haunting. It's almost like it's almost Halloweenish.
Right.
It's so kind of haunting when you first hear it. It gives me chills. I just love it, man. I never get sick of it.
And Keep on Running in the box set. I remember the notes for Keep on Running. All they say is Neil wanted the rock, so we did.
Yeah.
And there's a great Anthrax cover. It sticks pretty true to it, but still, it's a really nice cover. The only song I used to skip it. That's the only song that kept this album from being an A+ for me is Still They Ride. I didn't like that song at all when the album first came out. I like it a little bit more now. I was going to
ask if you like it more now, because I do too. I didn't really care for it either, but I like it more now.
Yeah, I do. I can listen to it now. I love Escape. I love Lay It Down. Dead or Alive. I don't understand why they had to make like a really fast James Bond spy song, but whatever. And then Mother, Father, I'm with you. There's parts of it I like, parts I don't. And Open Arms, just probably the prototypical ballad. You know, I've heard it 1,000 times, 100,000 times. I'll probably hear it 100,000 more, and I don't mind. I gave this an A. It's my number one, and it might be my all-time favorite album. Just again,
it's up there. I know you've talked about it ever since I've known you.
Yeah, and production's fantastic. It sounds great.
It does. It's even today. Like I listened to it some today and like twice last week, and it sounds so good. It's so good.
And I love the album cover. I'm looking at it behind Herd. You know, it's just I can't. I don't know if I'll ever like an album more than I like this album. So.
All right. Well, before I give my opinion and some controversial ones, as it is
9th for Herd.
No, it is my number 2, and it is an A for me. So it's fantastic. I think it's awesome, except for 2 songs. Very controversial. Open Arms and Don't Stop Believing. I do not like either of those songs. I never have. I never will.
Liar.
When I hear everybody in the world going nuts on Don't Stop Believing, you could ask my wife. I always say most overrated song of all time. I don't like it. I never did. I never will.
Sweet Caroline is that one for me.
That's up there too.
That's the one. That's the most overrated song. In fact, when people when he does Sweet Caroline, I always go, "This song sucks." That's what I always sing single time.
That's fair. That's fair. Every time anybody plays "Don't Stop Believin'," I reference their best song that they ever did. That's on the next album after this. We'll talk about.
Okay.
But again, saying that those 2 massive hits I don't like, I still gave it number 2 and an A. I love everything else on this album. I love From Stone in Love all the way to Mother, Father. I love this album. You guys hit it. It sounds, for 1981,
oh my God,
that's the year I was born. So I know how old 1981 was.
I know how old this album is. I feel it every day.
I literally feel it all but 2 months of it. Okay. But it sounds so good. This is a headphones album. Me and Mr. H always talk about headphone albums, where you just listen to it. All the instruments are crystal clear. Everybody's playing their ass off on their part.
It's spatially recorded.
Yeah,
it feels like they're in the room with you in a weird way. It's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I want to shout out the title track, which I think is so underrated.
Oh, it is.
God, that song kicks so much ass. I love Escape.
Opened with that one on that live in Houston that I was referencing. That's the first song they played. I was surprised. I was like, wow, really?
That is a great song, man. It's coming off Still They Ride, which I get why people would be iffy on that. I've always liked that one. I think Steve kills it on it. I think his vocals are just out of this world.
That's what makes it. Yeah, that's what makes it better for me now. I'm like, okay, I kind of get it now. Especially in the chorus when he's like singing "Still They Ride," and then Neil kind of comes back with the guitar that echoes that, and it just sounds amazing. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get it.
It's just his voice is like butter. The da 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 da, like it just. Oh man, I love it. So again, a great album. It's an A for me. Like every day of the week, it's an A, and that's figuring in. Again, I know that Don't Stop Believin' and Open Arms are generally loved, at least known by everybody. So they're massive songs. Obviously, they're a big reason why this band was as big as they were in 1981. Obviously, it wasn't a lot of their early stuff, but to me, that's where I say, when I like Infinity more, it's because I think all of those songs are amazing, and there's none of them that I think are overrated or just overplayed or anything. I just think that's all perfect for me. This one, that's why it slots number 2 for me. It's just because it has a couple of those songs that I just don't buy the hype. My ears don't hear it, I guess, the same as everybody else. They don't show as massive to me, but I get it. I get why everybody loves it. Also, Mr. H, I want to throw up before I kick it to you. So albums that came out, I can't find a list of top albums of 1981, but number 1 was High Infidelity by REO Speedwagon.
You gotta be kidding me. Over Escape?
And then I saw in the article on Wikipedia that Stevie Nicks
Belladonna.
was right before that.
Yeah,
Some other albums that came out, Foreigner 4 came out that year.
that was probably big. Top 5? I don't
Well, you
know.
know
if
what?
that was
Escape
top 5.
didn't come out until July, though. That might be part of
That
it.
might be. You're right. You're
You know.
right. It's only half the
Yeah.
year worth of sales, but
Hmm.
yeah, I don't. Pat Benatar's "Precious Time" came out. That was huge. And Moody Blues was huge. Long Distance Voyager. So anyway, those are I think the main ones. Air Supply. There was Rick Springfield's album, Hard Promises by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So just a few of those albums that came out in '81. So, but I got Escape number 2 and an A.
Okay. Belladonna came out July 27th, 1981. So
I'm not
And
going
that
to
was
argue with your herd.
that was a spot above Escape, though, just for reference. They both came out in July, so maybe that's why those weren't 1 and 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I have Infinity 2. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to argue with you. You know, we've got them just 1 and 2 flip flop. We both got them in the A range. So yeah, I'm not going to. It's not that controversial. You know?
No.
Yeah, it's the songs, you know, that you didn't like that are, I guess, make it a little controversial. But I will guarantee you that you will listen, because it's headphone related, that you will listen to the beginning of Don't Stop Believin' until Neil Sean is done coming into the song. Because when he is ripping and then it clicks from one ear to two ears and his guitar is just screaming in your head, like in the headphones, it sounds amazing.
It does.
That's what I love the most about that song. The rest of the song, you're right, it's kind of open arms ish, where you just kind of get tired of hearing "Don't Stop" like over and over and over and over again, right? Like, but dude, the beginning of that song, like when he comes in, it's one of my favorite. It's like boom,
that's cool.
Like
that's
in both
part,
ears, and it's so good, and it's because of the production. It's just like what we've all been talking about. Like, it's so good. It sounds good just imagining in my head without even listening to it. I can't get over how great that is. So. Even though you don't like that song, I guarantee you like that part.
I do. It's epic for sure.
It's after that, you're like, okay, now I can skip it.
Yeah.
So, okay, on to February 1st, 1983. Finally, 2 years in between, a year and a half in between albums. Frontiers, 10 songs. Mike Stone and Kevin Ellison again produced this one. Separate Ways is one of the best album openers ever.
Best songs ever.
And one of my favorite songs ever. I had exactly that same thing written down here, just like you said.
Greatest video ever.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, right. The warehouse. Was it the warehouse or the tank top that you really liked?
All of it.
All of it. It's so
the
good.
Keyboard on the wall.
I feel like they filmed that in about 20 minutes. Like, somebody's like, MTV's like, hey, we need a video for this song real quick. You think you can bust that out? Like, hey, I got a cameraman over here. Hey, how about right now? You want to do it right now?
A lot of Steve Perry fists.
Yeah, $50. Wow. The production was a bit better on Escape, I think. This one's a little too synth heavy. Like, why is Neil so far back in the mix in like Chain Reaction, for example? Like, you can barely hear him. I'm like, what happened? Like, these are the same two people that were involved with the last one. So I don't know why the mix is so synth heavy. I mean, is it kind of the times, I guess, but it's a little weird considering he came off of just one of the just ridiculously stellar production albums and come to this, which just doesn't sound right compared to that one. I'm going to say this. I know John's going to echo the same thing. I cannot believe they held back Ask the Lonely and Only the Young at the last minute and replaced it with Backtalk and Troubled Child. Troubled Child is not a bad song, but it's not Ask the Lonely or Only the Young.
Agreed.
But then I started thinking, I'm like, maybe it was genius because those two songs released later kept them relevant while the members were off doing other things. So maybe it was some kind of stroke of genius, Hey, Neil was doing HSAS, which John has talked about in a previous podcast. And Steve Perry was doing Street Talk with Oh Sherry, was a gigantic hit too. And this was after this album. But man, you put those two songs back on that album, and you have maybe one of the best rock albums ever produced, like song-wise. Like it's insane how many great songs. If you put those two on here,
yeah,
I mean that's crazy. that they could have all those hits on one album. Once again, though, because they took those two off, the greatness here is top heavy. Edge of the Blade is really, really underrated, and Frontiers is sneaky good too. But the front half of this album is just, that's where all the greatness is. So it's weird that they front load these. But like you said, I feel like, maybe that's record store doing, or I don't know who sequences these things when they come out, but it seems like they do make a lot of them really top heavy. I love the video game behind John. You see the little heads.
Yep.
That came out when this was out. I played it in the Crystal Palace arcade all the time at Brookade Shopping Center. If any of my friends from the Brook Park days, they'll remember Crystal Palace if they're listening. And we used to go up there all the time, and there was a line to play this game. I think they had a limit of like 20 minutes for a while, because there'd just be people standing in line waiting to play this game, and it was the dumbest game. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed playing it. Like, they would play their instruments and like shoot things out, or Steve Perry's firing microphones like snow cones up in the air, and Steve Smith. So you're banging on the buttons and you have the joystick, and he's hitting his drums, and there's stuff coming out of it like Gallagher. You're flying through space, shooting at stuff. It's insanely dumb. And they have these faces that just would kind of move back and forth. Like, they'd have a different facial expression, but they would just move back and forth on these tiny little bodies, like John's picture. It was hilarious. But yeah, it was a hell of a lot of fun. And there was songs in the game that were on the album, so it was great. It was the first time I ever remember that. My favorites on here are Separate Ways. Again, one of my favorite songs ever. Sender My Love I like a lot. Chain Reaction I like. After the Fall. And Faithfully, for me, is their best of the ballads that they've written, and it's one of the best ballads ever written, in my opinion. It's just a beautiful song, and that was one that I don't get tired of. They do still play the crap out of it, but I don't get sick of that one like I got sick of Open Arms, and I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on it, but I absolutely love Faithfully. Skippers, none, though Back Talk, I think, is the weakest track on this album if I were to rank the tracks. So, and that's one that I said they replaced Ask the Lonely and Only the Young, which are awesome songs. But I really have no skippers. This is number one for me, and again, it's an A. It had easily been an A+ if they hadn't taken those songs off of there. It could legit, have a fight for number one rock album ever. Just in just hugeness of songs and greatness. Like, all of those songs would have been played on the radio for like years and years and years. But as it is, it just edges out Escape for me for the top spot. It's not recorded as well, and I kind of felt like this was going to be controversial until you guys went with Infinity. But I feel like this is a slightly stronger album song quality wise. And like I said, if those two were on here, and it's got one of my favorite songs ever and my favorite Journey song on it, and it's heavy and it's good, and I love the ballad. So I couldn't really fight with this one. I wanted to switch them, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. So this was number one for me, and it's just barely edges it out. And next week I might change it again. I just like these albums both kind of equally for different reasons. But what did you think of Frontiers, John?
I'm with you on a lot of it. Like, Separate Ways it was such a departure for Journey, like their heaviest song, and when I first heard it blew me away. I've heard the story. They were playing it in concert before they even finished it. They didn't even really have the lyrics done, and the audience was just going crazy. They were just going crazy for it, and that's why they said, we got to get this done and finish it,
and hurry the video along too.
Oh yeah, exactly. They had to. That's why they were running backwards in the video through the pallets.
Right. You remember way too much of that. Oh my god.
Then I really like Chain Reaction. You're right though. The guitars are buried too much. I kind of like the call and response of the way they do the lyrics. With like him and the band like kind of talking back at each other in it. I think a really underrated song on this album is After the Fall. I really like After the Fall. Like, again, Ross Valerie kind of propels the song. It's kind of his song in this album.
One of the songs you can hear him pretty well on.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't all.
And 100% agree with you on Faithfully. I like it better than Open Arms. I
Yeah.
think it's their best ballad. They've closed concerts with Faithfully,
Yeah.
and it's so good. And have you guys both heard the story of how Prince called Jonathan Cain when he wrote Purple Rain?
You've told me the story.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it otherwise, but please share it.
He was worried that he was ripping off Faithfully with his chord changes when he wrote Purple Rain. And he called Jonathan Cain and played Purple Rain for him over the phone to make sure he wasn't ripping him off. Jonathan
Awesome.
Cain was like, he was blown away. He was like, no, man. He goes, you're fine. That song, he's like, this song's beautiful. Go ahead, man.
Huh. That's
And I just thought that was a cool story that, one, that Prince was worried he was ripping off, Faithfully, and two, that he would do that, that he was,
yeah.
that's just cool. Edge of the Blade, again, I like that song. It's a cool riff. I'm going to leave the next two songs to talk about last. Frontiers, I like Frontiers. I really liked Rubicon. It's just such a cool song. It's like, it's almost getting to their, a throwback to their proggy kind of sound a little bit, I really liked it. Trouble Child, I do not like at all. Back Talk, I thought they were trying to rip off I Want Candy. I really think those
it
two
did have a
songs,
familiar sound to it, and I couldn't place it. I think you're right.
If those two songs were gone like they should have been, and Only the Young and Ask the Lonely were there, this would have been my number one album.
Yeah.
It might have, like you said, it might have been my favorite rock album ever.
Yeah. It's just...
And I'm so angry that those two songs aren't on this album, and the two songs they replaced it with were just so bad.
Mhm.
It just makes me mad that this could have been such a better album that I gave this a B and ranked it number 4 just because of what it could have been.
Wow. Really punished him. Journey's A&R man. Journey's A&R man, Michael Dilbeck. That's the guy you got to.
If I ever see him, we're going to fight.
Damn it,
That's
Dilbeck.
right. Damn it, Dilbeck.
Yeah, because those two songs that were just so weak compared to what the two songs they held back, I never thought of it your way, though, that might have been a genius move that it kept them relevant.
Well, it's a hindsight genius move,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm sure he wasn't planning on those two songs. Oh, we have this plan to go in this Vision Quest soundtrack, and we have this one planned to go. They didn't. I don't think he planned that, but it, in hindsight, it kind of looks like, well, considering what happened in between this album and the next album, it kind of kept them really relevant because they're like, wow, they're still putting out hits. Look at them, and those were already well written,
Such a powerhouse. I mean, it already was, but imagine with those two songs.
Right.
So, like I said, number 4, I gave it a B. It's still a great album, but it could have been just phenomenal. It could have been a 10 million seller on its own, that.
Yeah, it kind of robbed Journey of like their apex moment. Like that was the moment where it could have all just come together.
Yeah,
and they kind of got robbed of that because some guy just like, no, I would take those off of there. How does the A&R guy decide that? Wouldn't the band say, no? Are you crazy?
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frontiers, I think I liked a lot better as a kid. It doesn't hold up quite as well for me as an adult. It's pretty 80s cheese. It's got a layer of cheese on it for sure.
Extra cheese.
Yeah, it's like I threw one slice of cheese on the burger, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to throw another one.
Yeah.
And then in the end, you're like, I think I might have overkilled it.
Yeah, over cheesed it.
But no, I really do like the album a lot. I mean, the hits for sure stand up. I'm with you guys. Separate Ways is the song. I'm always like, hey, instead of that song, how about this song, which I think is far superior. I love it. The guitar at the beginning, it's awesome. Like more than anything else that they've done, that is awesome.
Yeah,
so Separate Ways, best song they've ever done. Send Her My Love, awesome. Chain Reaction, awesome. I agree about After the Fall, awesome. Faithfully, totally agree. Much better song than Open Arms. I don't know. Maybe it feels more powerful to me when it kicks in. It gives me goosebumps when I hear it, like with headphones on. And Open Arms never did that to me. Like like that song is like, okay. Faithfully, like when he hits those high notes at the end, like I'm still your, like obviously I can't sing at all, let alone like he does. But just hitting those high notes at the end, God, it's like chilling. Like, dude, it's just so good.
Yeah.
But I agree. After that, it's kind of rough. I do like the last two songs, Frontiers and Rubicon. Edge of a Blade, not my thing. And then for sure, Troubled Child and Back Talk. No. never really cared much for those. So, like Mr. H said, really, really top heavy. Not as well produced as Escape. Very synthy, very 80s sounding, but you can't deny the hits here, the great of the highs. So number 3 for me, it's still really good. I probably would have had it maybe 20 years ago. I probably would have had it number 1, but as my mind is kind of grown around Infinity, especially, and Escape, this one just kind of fell to 3. So it's a B plus still. It's a fantastic album. Totally agree with both of you guys on Only the Young and Ask the Lonely. Like, those are game changer songs. They play them live all the time. Like, those are huge songs.
Still, yep.
Huge songs for them. So, like, again, you just kind of robbed everybody of that almost another. That would be the third A album for me from this band. Obviously,
Yeah,
I think you guys do.
Yeah.
I made my Spotify playlist of this album. I took Troubled Child and Backtalk out. With Only the Young and
Put them in there.
That's genius. Yeah, that's genius.
That's
Make
awesome.
your own Frontiers
Right.
version 2.0.
Right.
I
The
like
better version.
But yeah, number 3, B plus, still fantastic. I still love this album.
Awesome. Yeah, original version before it got messed with. I think Separate Ways is kind of it's like a heavy metal gateway song.
It is.
Too,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
you could really get into stuff if you really like if you got it's some 13-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and you're like, man, see if you like this. You try to figure out like what do you think he would like, So listen to this. Do you like this? Oh, you like that? Okay, well then it opens up like everything else. You're like all this metal.
The pondering thing to take away from this podcast is Separate Ways a Slayer riff? Yes or no?
Yes or no?
It might be.
It might be. All right. So on to 1986. So we got three years here in between, and on to Raised on Radio. 11 songs here. This was produced by Steve Perry. Ross Valerie and Steve Smith were fired from the band at the behest of Steve Perry. This is kind of where things were starting to take a weird turn here.
Yep.
He pretty much took control of the band when he returned, I guess. He has expressed some regret in firing those guys later on, though. Kind of a better sound mix and production on this one versus Frontiers for me. Kind of an updated, more polished Escape sound, if that makes sense. Escape still sounds better in my opinion, but this is kind of an updated, more polished kind of sounding of the same kind of sounding, like different notes, like you're hearing in different places, and you can pretty much hear everybody. Seems like they did kind of experiment with some different sounds on this one in some spots, though. Positive Touch has like a 80s radio friendly pop rock sound that was kind of so formulaic, back in the mid 80s, like very Phil Collins and Billy Joel like. Even they even worked the sax in there. Yeah. It's kind of weird and very funky. Once You Love Somebody, there's a lot of funk going on in there. I'll Be All Right Without You could just as easily have been sung by Tina Turner at this time and be pretty much unchanged.
Yep.
Like, it fits right in with that kind of stuff, So not really Journey-like, but still some good songs, but just a little different. They kind of lost some of the rock edge that they had, especially on Frontiers. Perry ended up coming back to Journey after a call from Jonathan Cain. Jonathan Cain was working on some songs just because, there wasn't really much going on. John, I'm sure, might talk about HSAS here because he's a big fan of Sammy and that album that came out with Neil Schon. That was his kind of solo thing. And then Steve Perry did Street Talk with, O'Sherry. And there's a couple other great songs on there, but not as great as, like, most of that album isn't that great to me. Like, there's a couple really good ones on there, but it's not that great. And I think Jonathan Cain was just like, well, guess I'll just write songs like I normally write songs.
Foolish Heart, come on, that's amazing.
He called Steve Perry and said, hey, can you give me some help with these? I could use your expertise and see what you think. And then it kind of got them working together, and then he came back. So Randy Jackson of American Idol fame fills in on bass here after one or two other guys, I guess. Although I know Randy surely feels that it's the other way around, that it's not Randy Jackson of American Idol fame, it's Randy Jackson of Journey fame,
right,
that did American Idol, but he ended up replacing Ross Valerie after a time here. And he's a really good session bass player too, so you can hear him definitely on this album. They made sure that they didn't bury him in the mix, although he's got no songwriting credits or anything like that, so he wasn't really a big part of Journey. He's a hired bass player, hired gun guy. So my favorites on here are "Girl Can't Help It," "Be Good to Yourself," "I'll Be All Right Without You." I love those three songs. Those are they almost feel like leftovers from Frontiers also.
Yeah.
And those are kind of classic Journey type songs. There's no skippers. I had this kind of as a B plus. This is number 3, but it's kind of a distant third to the other two. This one would never compete with being up there with those two for me. Still some great tunes here, but some of the magic, I believe, it feels like it's gone here. And which, you still get the 3 main songwriters, so that kind of surprises me a little bit. But it's like they just tried to do some other stuff, I guess. Although the tour was just huge, I may remember they played multiple nights all over the place, like all the United States. They played here in Cleveland 2 nights. I used to think that the show was at the Cleveland Stadium for some reason, but I didn't go. I know my friends went. I wish I would have went to this one because it would have been a good time to see them. They're still kind of at the top of their game, although I would have rather seen Ross Valley or Steve Smith, but the band was so big at this time, so
Right.
it was just they put these singles out, they just sold them like crazy, but it's just not as good an album for me. So B plus, number 3 for me for Raised on Radio. What did you think, John?
Well, I did go to the concert. I was in high school at the time. Great show. Was Randy Jackson was wearing the most horrible bicycle shorts for the show. It was terrible, but otherwise it was a really good
Hope
show.
you were sitting far away, so you didn't really have to see it that well.
Thank goodness for that.
Oh my goodness.
It was a great show. They sounded great. It was the only time I got to see Journey with Steve Perry, so it was a great show. Glass Tiger. So it was the only time I got to see Glass Tiger, unfortunately. Opened for him.
Big fan of them, are you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sure.
They had that one really big song.
And sure, that other anyhow, it was a great show. I was happy I got to see him, at least with the big 3. It would have been so much better to see him with Ross Valerie and Steve Smith too, but I'll take what I can get,
Right. You got to see it. I didn't.
Yeah, and it's funny how you were talking about how Jonathan Cain called Steve Perry up. I remember, like, the big rumors back in the day when Steve Perry was, off with his solo and Neil Schon was doing HSAS with Sammy Hagar, which is a really good album. Neil Schon just rocks the whole album. It's it's
pretty
just
good. It is
old school rock. It's a semi-live album. I highly recommend it to anybody. But there were rumors that maybe Michael Bolton was going to take over for Steve
I
Perry.
remember that.
Or Mickey Thomas from Starship was going to take over for Steve Perry,
I think Kurt Loder told me some of this on MTV News.
Yeah, and I was just like, no. Yeah.
Doom, 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 doom.
But I was glad Steve Perry came back. When this album came out, I remember I liked it a lot more then than I do now. I think you mentioned the, Girl Can't Help It, Be Good to Yourself, I'll Be All Right Without You. Those are basically the 3 songs that probably, the 3 singles that everybody remembers. I think Why Can't the Night Go On Forever was released as a single, didn't really go anywhere.
No, those 3 are the ones they play live off of this one.
Yeah, and I think those are the 3 best songs on the album. Positive Touch, saxophone. I can't imagine Journey with a saxophone.
Yeah, it was weird.
And Suzanne, it's a drum machine.
Yeah. They released that one too, actually.
Yeah.
The second one, after Be Good to Yourself, they released that, and I'm like, really? Yeah, I don't remember that.
The only notes I have on that song, Happy to Give, is Sappy to Give, because that song is just, I did not like that at all. Raised on Radio, I like the riff. The harmonica, I think there was one other song earlier there they had a harmonica, and I was on one of the early albums, but I was like, I wanted to like it, but it just, I don't know, that it was a little too choppy or something, or the lyrics were goofy. I just didn't like it as much as I thought I would. And Why Can't the Snake Go Ever? I was just like, nice try at trying to rewrite Faithfully is basically what I said about that.
Yeah.
There are good songs. I really like Be Good to Yourself. I've always really liked that song. It rocks pretty decently. I'll Be All Right Without You. Neil ends it with a really nice smooth solo, ending that song. And Girl Can't Help It. It's a nice song too. but I don't like it now as much as I did back then. I gave it a C+, and it's number 6.
All right.
And I bet you this is the next one where they needed a change.
Well, actually, no.
Oh, wow.
No, it's actually Trial by Fire that I feel like they needed, and they got it. Again, we didn't go past Trial by Fire, but they really needed something, and I felt like the album with what's his face, I can't remember his name. Mr. H can tell me.
Steve Algary.
Algary, yeah. I thought that was pretty good, but
Arrival. That one.
Yeah, I thought that was better. Anyway, Raised on Radio, I'm right along where John is on this one. This it lacked the punch of Journey to me. This really kind of felt more like a Steve Perry. It kind of sounded like his solo album more than Journey. And I know, again, it had still the big three songwriters in there, but I don't know. And I know obviously something happens because the next album is basically all Steve Perry in all over it. But this one, it has good songs on it. So, I can't bash it too much, but it doesn't have the punch of Journey to me. So it just feels, I think Mr. H, I think you said, it's just lacking something. It's just, you could tell something is missing, and it's probably the two guys they kicked out. I just think they were such a big part of the sound that you can't, you kind of overrate it until it's not there. It's like, well, they didn't write the songs, but that doesn't mean that their sound wasn't,
right.
It just didn't sound the same without them. So
right, Randy Jackson's bass sounds completely different than Ross Valerie's bass does.
Yeah,
completely different.
Yep. Yeah, it's absolutely. So you guys mentioned it. The hits are great off of here. Girl Can't Help It, Be Good to Yourself, I'll Be All Right Without You. A lot of the rest of the album to me is a little more like, and they're not all ballads, but to me they come across just ballady because they're kind of soft. They're kind of mellow. They're kind of like a chill vibe. I feel like, and I know I don't want to get anybody going, but Q104-ish, right? It sounds like they could play this whole album on Q104.
They play all of Journey on Q104. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. But yeah, this one, I have it right where John does. I have it number 6. I have it a B-. I think the songs that are really good, but past that, Positive Touch. You guys have mentioned the saxophone. I'm just like, Suzanne is weird to me. The title track is pretty decent. That would be the other one I would say kind of stands out, but the rest of it not so much. So it's B-, C+ for me. Number 6. The next one is where I'm like, okay, they need a kick in the ass. So.
I got 2 more things. One, the album cover, I did not know this until I just saw it just now, was done by Prairie Prince, the original drummer. Yeah. Cover art by Michael Cotton and Prairie Prince. I'm like, no kidding.
I hope he's a better drummer.
Right. Right. It all comes back full circle.
That is
the other thing I want.
Worst album cover.
Yeah, it's just real basic, It's a radio station with 2 towers and.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Trial by Fire is the worst album.
Oh no. We'll get to that. Yeah, this one it's not great, but it looks like this one also looks like high school art. You know what I mean? There's nothing special about.
The Days of Escape behind me, and even Frontiers. I didn't mention that, but I remember seeing that on my dad's album cover. It's like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, that's around when like Terminator came out and stuff. I'm like, this little robot dude looks awesome. So
I like how the Journey's kind of in lasers coming out of his forehead too. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, you're right. But yeah, this one was Prairie Prince. And the second thing I want to mention is you guys talked me into it. I just moved Raised on Radio down a spot, and I moved Infinity up a spot just now.
Okay.
Just changed it just now. So that's now a B, and it's number 4 for me.
You won't regret it.
And Infinity is now number 3. I'm like, you know what? I even have 4 favorite songs on Infinity. I only have 3 for Raised on Radio. Like, what was I doing? What was I even thinking there? So anyway, I changed it. All right, so on to your number 1A album, Trial by Fire. Herd, I know you love this one.
Well, I have one spot left.
Trial, I don't know. Was it like number 47 or? So Trial by Fire, October 22nd, 1986. So this is a reunion, kind of a make good album with Ross Valerie and Steve Smith back in the band, and the other 3 guys. So we're back to Frontiers and Escape lineup. and even before that. So there's 14 to 15 songs on here. I don't. There's a hidden track. I don't know if you want to call it a song. Anyway, we'll get to that. So this was produced by Kevin Shirley, who we recognize from more recent albums. And I want John to tell me what he thought of the artwork, because I didn't write it in here, but it was great what you said. So I wanted you to.
I said,
add
it
that
seems
here.
like they asked a bunch of second graders to do an artwork project and then just threw it all together into the album cover.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I can too. When you said that, I was like, man, it's like there's just chunks of stuff like in weird places, and you're like, what is this supposed to mean here? I don't know what kind of weird utopia. There's a giant baby in a little boat, and then a woman that's smaller than the baby, and like and there's people watering the sky. I don't know what they're doing.
Well,
The
the
woman
woman-
was
It's
like
just
a cat head, a
Yeah.
peacock tail, I
Yep.
think.
yes.
And
But a
what's that
grown
laying
woman,
on the-
but the baby is like twice the size of. Like I don't know.
I don't know.
It's odd. It's really, really odd. So anyway, I had to have John get that in there because he was right. And then once I saw it, I couldn't unsee what he said. So sadly, this is Steve Perry's last album. I mean, the dude still sounds amazing. Like, and damn you, Steve Perry. Why do you rob us of your beautiful voice for like 22 years? I mean, 22 years. God, man, this guy, when this album came out, this guy was only 46 years old. And he just stopped. Like, he had hip surgery. He had a hip replacement in 1998. Well, even in 1998, that's like, it's probably outpatient still, right? Like, that's not a big deal, and it doesn't affect your voice. He just, like, I don't know. He said stuff like, I never really felt like I was a part of the band. And, like, their manager was like, that's like saying that the Pope never felt like he was Catholic. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like, you
So,
fired two guys and produced the last album.
Right.
I mean, how do you not feel a part of the band? I don't understand. And it's just, man, it makes me mad because the guy is one of my favorite singers of all time. And he still sounds amazing in 1996. And I'm like, why did we not hear more of him until 2018? He sang backup vocals on a couple of, soundtrack songs here and there. But like, what? Why? I don't understand it. So it just made me mad. I had to get it out. So I kind of forgot how good some of this album is and how much I like some of it, but only in the very beginning. Like, talk about top heavy.
Yes.
This is the top heavy of all top heavies, maybe ever. So there is some great guitar work, even if I don't care for the song that much. And I have two examples of Castles Burning. I thought the song was kind of dull and boring, but man, there's some killer guitar work on there. And Don't Be Down on My Baby. I had to make sure that I wrote that in here because it's too long a title. I'm like, what does that say? But there's some great, great guitar work in that song too by Neil. I mean, he's still, yeah. And I can see it in your eyes as a Japanese bonus track. That song should have been on this album. That song rocks. It's pretty good. I don't know why it's not on here, but it is not. It should have been on here instead of one of these ballads. There are so many ballads. I'll get to that in a second. My favorites are Message of Love. It's Separate Ways Part 2, but it's a really, really good song. One More and When You Love a Woman. Those are the first three tracks. So talk about top heavy. I like the first three tracks. And then If He Should Break Your Heart is the next one. That one kind of falls off. Forever in Blue I don't like. Castles Burning I don't really like. So this one really falls off big for me. When I started listening to it, I'm like, I'll just throw a rating in here. And I kind of put it up at like number 5. And then I listened to more of it, and then I'm like, okay, here's my skippers. Still She Cries was boring. And then When I Think of You is more ballad salad, chasing their huge songs. And then Easy to Fall is another one. It's Just the Rain again. Trial by Fire again. Like, it's just one after another, just ballad after ballad after ballad. So then I moved it down. And then after a couple of those ballads, I moved it down again. So it ended up at number 7 for me. Because I'm like, I like the first 3 songs a lot, but that's really kind of it. Like, there's some really great guitar stuff in here, but I said that about the first 3 albums too. So this is now down kind of where those are.
Right.
And I might even, if I was moving stuff around, if I go back, I might put one of those albums ahead of this one too. Whichever one I like the most songs on, I'd probably move ahead of this one too, because the ballads, it is so boring. And it doesn't matter. 14, 15 songs, they should have about 8. Because there's just ballad after ballad after ballad, and I don't know what they were trying to do there. So this was number 7 for me. I had this as like a C++. top heavy again. Way too much ballad salad later. So, what did you think of Trial by Fire, John?
I'm pretty much with you. And actually, I just moved it down too. As you were talking, I was like, you know what? You're right. I just switched it and raised on radio. But anyhow,
Look at live rankings going on right now.
Because I'm looking through my listing too, and I was
Yeah.
like, I got more skippers on it, and
Yeah.
I like Message of Love. I like that, and again, Ross Valerie's bass sounds fantastic. And
Yes, he's back.
He's back. He's just doing his thing. When You Love a Woman I think it was the only hit off this, wasn't it? It was a adult contemporary hit, you know, and it was a great song.
Q104.
Exactly.
Yeah. They released that, and then Message of Love is the only other song they released off of this one.
Castles Burning, again, I love the guitar. It's funny, you mentioned Don't Be Down on Me, Baby. Here's my notes on that. Blah, blah, blah. Great solo, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. That's pretty much what I have. Oh, that's awesome.
Then I skipped the next two. Color of the Spirit, I just wrote Nope. I did kind of like Easy to Fall, though. I don't know why. I just liked the chorus, I think. I liked that.
I think by then I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't know, maybe that's where I was then.
I think next song, I was like, Can't Tame the Lion. I was like, please. I was like, wow, they picked up the pace a little.
Yeah,
next song, I was like, nope, they brought it back down.
They did, yeah.
Trial by Fire, I just have 3 Z's.
Yep.
The next song, I've got Reggae. And then for I Can See It in Your Eyes, I wrote, Thank You for Speeding It Up. Yeah, and I gave I like that song. Right. But yeah, there's just way too much mid-tempo at best. But ballads.
Yeah, even the mid-tempo ones feel like ballads, though. Like, that's what Herd was saying on the last album. Like, even the mid-tempo stuff feels more like a ballad here.
Yeah.
Like, they're just all these sappy love songs, like a little bit heavier, a little bit sped up, but not much. It's still the same thing over and over and over again.
I don't even know. I think this might be a little too heavy for Q104. I think it would have been on WENC The Wave. You know?
Nice.
So I dropped it down to number 6 and gave it a C. I flip-flopped it with Raised on Radio as I was going through it now and thinking about it, which was a shame because I was so excited when it came out, with Steve Perry back, and I was so looking forward to it. And I didn't even really like it that much then, and I've dropped it down a little more now. So
yeah.
Trial by Fire.
You throwing water on that fire?
16 songs, 71 minutes.
Long minutes, man. Long minutes.
Again, you don't have to fill the whole CD with music.
You don't.
Yes.
Dude, pick your
my goodness.
10 songs and let's roll with it.
How about the top 4 ballads instead of 7?
Yeah. No, this is really boring. And that's why, to me, this was my easy number 10, because even the early stuff, the proggy stuff, at least they were jamming, and I was really into the music then. Like, there's nothing redeeming about this.
I can totally see that. Yep.
So I agree with you guys. I do like When You Love a Woman, and I do love Message of Love. That's it for me, guys. Like, I tried. It took me like 4 times to get through this album. Like, I would be listening to, and I would start skipping through the songs, and I can't do that because I need to give them at least one listen. So I listened to the first like 4 or 5 songs, and then Castles Burning. I skip it halfway through, and then I go to the next song. I skip it halfway through, and then I get to the end of it, and I'm like, I got to at least give it a full listen. So then I'm like, all right, so I start with Castles Burning again, and I get through that one. And then don't be down on my, again, the guitar solo. There's
down on Me Baby, My Baby, Me Baby. I think I even said it wrong. Like, I can't get that one right for whatever.
Yeah, this is just boring, guys. To me, it's there's nothing really interesting about it, and I know all of them could do better. All of them could play better. All of them could write better. We've seen it. Just feels like they did it to do it, just to do the whole reunion thing. So for me, a C-. Again, it feels like this was the closest to saying they have a D. I couldn't do it, but it's a C- and it's a 10 for me. So
yeah.
You know what? I just dropped it down one more because I can't put it ahead of Departure because Departure is any way you want it.
Right.
So I dropped it down to 7.
If just for that one song, there's nothing on here.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to mention something. Like, we're not going to cover their last 4 albums, but I did want to make some mention of some stuff here. The best of the rest for me was Eclipse in 2011.
Totally agree.
The songs City of Hope, Edge of the Moment, Chain of Love, Resonate, Neil Sean is still on fire on this album on some of these songs. Edge of the Moment has just ridiculously killer guitar riff in there. These are back to riff songs by Neil Sean, and it's like they are really good songs, and this for sure would be ahead of the first 3 albums and Trial by Fire if I were to rank it. This would
totally
be
agree.
6.
Totally agree.
So I really like this album, but it would have been so much better with Steve Perry on it. It really would have. Tantra would have been an amazing song with Steve Perry singing on it. This is the first album they did with Arnel Pineda, and it's just he just kind of does the same thing all the time. Like he can sound just like Steve Perry, but when he's on this original song, he just kind of just does the same thing. There's no variation, and Steve would have been taking that all over the place, and it would have been amazing because it's a really good song, but Arnel just makes it kind of boring, and I'm like, man, but I do really like that album. Arrival isn't bad either, and the Arrival live DVD is incredible. So that has, as long as you can get past Steve Augeri's man boob thing he has going on there, like really, no one could tell him that he looked awful before he went on stage with that shirt on. Are you kidding me? None of the other band members, none of the roadies, nobody was like, dude, please change that shirt. That does not look good. Like, really? I can't believe they let him go out there and do that and recorded it and put it out on DVD. Well, but anyway, it's a great DVD, though. It really is. And that album's not bad either. So
with Steve Augeri, the band he was in before Journey, Tall Stories, I've got their debut album, and I remember hearing it, and I was like, God, this guy kind of sounds like Steve Perry.
Oh,
him and
kind of looks like him.
Yeah,
kind of moves like him on stage.
I always thought him and the guy from Taiketo both kind of had a Steve Perry.
Yeah, I can hear that too.
And I just thought it was funny then when I heard that Steve Augeri from Tall Stories, I was like, get out.
You're like, oh, that one.
Yeah.
And did you have anything to add from some of this stuff?
I agree with you completely, both of you on Eclipse. You nailed all the songs I like, and that Neil was just like, or riff master. That since Steve Perry left, and all the singers, it's become more of a riff band, than they were before, because Neil's kind of taken over.
Yeah.
The one thing I wish, the little bit that Jeff Scott Soto was their singer, when he took over before Arnel came in, I wish they'd have put something out on, recorded something with him. Yeah. I really wish, because he's a fantastic singer. Yeah. I didn't get to see them live. My brother did at like a county fair in Youngstown or something, and he said he was just great.
With Jeff Scott Soto?
Yeah.
Wow, that'd have been awesome. Like, I wish that I would have heard Robert Fleischman earlier. Like, if I knew that, like, I like Jeff Scott Soto a lot too. So I really would have liked to have heard him with him too.
Because he's put out on some of his live stuff a lot of Journey cover songs.
Yeah,
and he sounds so good.
I didn't know he was even with him at all. That's crazy.
Like for about 6 months, he did like when Jerry's voice went out, he did like about 6 months of a tour with them or something. But then they for some reason didn't want him in the band permanent, and they found Arnel, and we know what happened next. So
yeah, right.
What could have been,
Yeah, probably they didn't have to pay him as much, Arnel, than they would have had to pay Jeff Scott Soto.
That's
what happened. Good point. And maybe they didn't like him because he was so much taller than Neil. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Neil is not a very tall man.
No,
but he can shred, so it don't really
Oh my God, yeah. I saw that.
What about you, Heard?
That draft party, and still, I'd almost given up on them live, because the last time I'd seen them before when they toured with Toto blew them off the stage.
They were terrible. Yeah. Journey was terrible. We left halfway through Journey. They were terrible. Yeah. Arnel's voice wasn't on. Like they sounded like crap. And then Toto was fantastic. Yeah. We're like, we're out of here. Let's go home. We'll go to the casino for another hour. And we left for Journey. We left. Right. Like, I mean, it was bad. And then they came back that draft night, and they were fantastic. I don't know if it was just a bad night. Maybe it was still when Jonathan and Neil were suing each other, and they were mad. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they weren't touring at that time, right? It was more a one-off show,
I think it was just a one-off. Yeah.
So
I gave my tickets to Zach and his girlfriend, and they went. So he liked it, but he'd never seen him and his girlfriend had never seen Journey. So I'm like, here, go. You can go for free.
I think it
was a one-off. They didn't have time to be mad at each other.
Well, I just think there's a lot to be said about bands that they go on tour, like the older guys. Me and Mr. H talked about this with Korn, and we're actually going to be getting into them here soon. But
next week,
yeah, I saw Korn this year, and it was like they were revitalized to me. But that was the first time they played in like a year. Okay. I think that makes a difference. I think when you get these older guys, they're like, oh, well, I haven't done anything for 4 months. I'm ready to go out on stage. They're excited to get out there. They're not tired. They're not exhausted from the road and stuff like that. So I think
these
all that
guys
figures
way
in.
older than Korn.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, I totally I get what you're saying though.
Yeah,
And
and
they
a shout.
get tired or like they kind of go through.
Sure.
The,
Shout out to Dean Castronova, who we talked about
Wow.
when I saw them. The guy actually, he was singing a few songs.
Yeah.
that dude,
He sounded
he's got-
great.
I wish he would just sing all the songs. I mean, I
Yes.
wish I'm sure it can't be easy
It
to
can.
play drums and sing all the songs, but he is so good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That I totally missed putting that in here as a note, but that guy's phenomenal,
Yeah.
I think that's got to be the
Wow.
hardest thing to do in music is drum and sing, honestly.
right?
Yep.
Man, he's so good. You're so right, man. You nailed that one. He was amazing. I'm like, sing more songs,
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
please. Oh man,
Absolutely. All right, Mr. H, give us your 10 to 1.
you got it. Number 10, Journey. Number self-titled. Number 9, Next. Number 8, Look into the Future. Number 7, Trial by Fire, which got moved down. Number 6, Departure. Number 5, as Evolution. Number 4, Raised on Radio, which got moved down live here on the show. Infinity, which got moved up and replaced Raised on Radio. I might even move Raised on Radio down right now again. No, I won't. Number 2, Escape, and number 1, Frontiers. How about you, John? Now yours changed a bunch too, so who knows?
Well,
now.
I got all kinds of scratch outs here.
Scribbles.
Yeah. So number 10 was the self-titled debut album. Number 9 was Look into the Future. Number 8, Next. Number 7 is Trial by Fire, which dropped like Shador Sanders.
Oh, boy.
Number 6 is Departure,
Ouch.
which went up.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Raised on Radio, which dropped down 1. Number 4 is Frontiers, which again I dropped it down 1 to move Evolution up to number 3. Infinity is number 2, and Escape is number 1.
All righty. Number 10 for me, Trial by Fire. Number 10, Trial by Fire. Number 10, Trial by Fire.
Number 11, Trial by Fire.
Number 9, Look into the Future. Number 8, I had Next. Number 7, Departure. Number 6, Raised on Radio. Number 5, the self-titled first album. Number 4, Evolution. Number 3, Frontiers. Number 2, Escape. And number 1, Infinity.
What did you have at 10 again? I missed it.
Let me double check. Trial by Fire.
Oh, that's
Oh.
right. My bad.
Yeah, that one wasn't that great
Yeah.
to me. So that one's going to be number 10.
That one
just
drops
gonna go
any
with it.
faster for me. I might have to catch it. It might fall off my screen.
Yeah.
Did you say Lit It on Fire?
Yeah.
Lit it. That's what I thought he said. Lit it on fire.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, well that's all we got for Journey. I don't want to end things too quickly, but the Gardos are playing the Tigers, and they're up 3-2 now. They were down 2-0.
Ooh,
Beautiful.
So I really the mid-7th. I want to watch that. So
nice.
All right.
but
thank-
we are done. We pretty much killed everything there was to kill with Journey here. I think.
Yep.
So,
And thank you, John, for joining us. We appreciate
thank you so much, John.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was great.
Great info too. I knew you'd have some good nuggets in there as our resident Journey expert. So we'll definitely have to have you on again. Fantastic
Yeah.
stuff.
Absolutely. Join us next week. We got Korn, like we kind of spoiled. So we'll
Yeah.
go through Korn next week, and then we'll see what happens after that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And
Thanks,
we will
Brian
see-
S. Again.
Oh, let me real quick show Brian's comment here about exploring Journey in college, dissatisfied with the new rock scene. Yeah, a lot of people do kind of go backwards with that to see what they missed and good stuff. So thanks, Brian, for joining us. Appreciate it. And thanks everybody else for listening, and we will see you in the next one.
Rock on.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What would you say you do here?
God damn it. Bob, we love playing here tonight. My brother's ready.
It helps if you think of it as a game, Bob. Every game has a winner and a loser.
You must possess strength to inflict pain, Bob.